What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I want to do something a little bit different today. I've had a lot of people ask me exactly where are we when it comes to the first infrastructure bill, the second infrastructure bill, the debt ceiling and the funding the government. Where are we? Because a lot of people are confused. I get confused because there's just so much stuff coming out. There's so much information coming out. It gets pretty ridiculous. And so what I want to do is I want to show you this illustration, and we're going to go line by line so I can show you exactly where we are. So that's what I want to discuss today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about news that matters. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, I just wanted to remind you, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you also see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's get right over to my illustration here. And I just want to show you what's going on. And I want to show you also kind of the opposition or the roadblocks that we could potentially see in the future. Now, I encourage you guys, if you guys have family members, friends that have been asking you about where are we with the infrastructure bills and all this stuff, I know a lot of people are really focused on that second infrastructure bill because it does have some assistance for a lot of people. So if you do have people asking you those questions, share this video with them so maybe it can help them. Okay, let's get back to our illustration here. Now, the thing that I want to focus on, and we'll start in the middle here. We have the American Jobs Plan. That's the first infrastructure bill. Okay, that's the one that was approved in the Senate. We have the American Families Plan. That is the second infrastructure bill, or the human infrastructure bill, the one that was authored by Senator Bernie Sanders. And then we have the debt ceiling and funding the government. Okay, so these are the three things that we're going to discuss, and I'm going to show you the different sides of these bills. Okay, it's very important for us to know who wants what and when. Okay, so the first group we want to talk about here is the Progressive House Democrats. Now, the Progressive House Democrats, they're okay with the first infrastructure bill. They're also okay with the second infrastructure bill, but they want them to go simultaneously. They want to vote on them simultaneously, and this is a problem for the moderates. Okay, you have the moderate House Democrats. Now, they have an issue with doing it together. What the moderates want to do is they want to move this way. They want to do the American Jobs Plan first, that first infrastructure bill, and then they want to move down to the American Families Plan. Okay, they want to do them that way. They don't want to do it the other way around. They don't want to do them simultaneously. They want to get one done first, and then they can move forward with the second. So what the moderate House Democrats are saying is, if you want to go with this American Families Plan, if you want to do these together, the American Families Plan and the American Jobs Plan, so the first infrastructure bill and the second infrastructure bill, if you want to do them together, we're going to vote no. We want to do that first infrastructure bill first and then the second infrastructure bill. Now, they need all the votes that they can get. The Democrats need all the votes they can get, even in the House. I mean, there's only like a 3-point margin here, a three vote margin. So they can't afford to have anyone vote against these bills. And so that is what they've been saying. So that is why Speaker Pelosi said, okay, you know what, September 27th, which is Monday, we're going to go ahead and vote on the first infrastructure bill, and we'll get that approved. So we'll have to see if that happens, because now there's a little bit of backpedaling because they don't really have the second infrastructure bill completed yet. So they don't have the actual bill. And so because of that, they're still working on it, and they're going to be working over the weekend. So maybe they'll be able to get some stuff done. But because of that, they can't do them simultaneously. They don't really want to just step out and do the first infrastructure bill and then everyone will forget about the second infrastructure bill or delay it months down the road. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to get this second infrastructure bill in place so they can kind of do them one after the other if they can do it that way. Now, the problem here, and let me pull out my pen here. So the problem here is you have progressives, and what progressives are saying is, we're okay with both bills, but we want them simultaneously. If you can't do them simultaneously, we're going to vote no on the first infrastructure bill. And so that's what they're saying. They're saying we're going to vote no on the first infrastructure bill if you do it first infrastructure bill and you don't have a second infrastructure bill, or if you haven't completed the draft on that. And so we have a big problem here with the progressives and the moderates. And they're pretty much, at this point, we're looking at a stalemate, and President Biden, that's how he phrased it. This is a stalemate. We have a situation here where we have one party that's divided. And we have a government that's divided, but when you have one party that's divided, that's a huge problem to move forward with anything. And so that's what we're looking at when it comes to the moderates and the progressives in the Democratic Party. Now, I want to move down just a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about the American Families Plan, that second infrastructure bill, and where's the opposition coming from when it comes to that bill. Now, when we're looking at this bill, we have the majority of Senate Democrats, and we're talking about the Senate because the Senate, this is going to be a reconciliation bill. So we already know that. You're going to need 50 Democrats to vote for this in the Senate in order for it to pass through reconciliation. And so that's why it's important for us to focus on the Senate. So you have the majority of Senate Democrats. They are for a $3.5 trillion American Families Plan, second infrastructure bill, human infrastructure. You have Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema, and there's some others. I'm sure there's some other senators that are kind of on the fence when it comes to the spending. But right now, these two senators are saying 1.5 trillion is closer to where we want to be when it comes to a top line. They don't want that $3.5 trillion bill. They think that's too much. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. Now, the important thing to understand when it comes to the second infrastructure bill, they are drafting it up in the House right now, and we're hoping Monday or Tuesday we're going to get some more information that will give us all the details of what's in this bill, because we still don't know. We have a good idea because they've kind of talked about some different proposals, but as far as a bill in its entirety, we don't know what's in the bill yet. So hopefully we'll be able to see that in the next couple of days. But right now, that top line number, that's going to be an issue. Senator Manchin, Senator Sinema, they've already indicated if it's 3.5 trillion, it's a no vote. And so they definitely have to negotiate that down. Now, that will cause some problems because you have progressives, okay, mainly progressives in the House that are saying, look, 3.5 trillion is a good number. That's what we want. If you start breaking this down, we're going to be a no vote. And so it's crazy. And not only are they saying there'll be a no vote, but they're going to look at that first infrastructure bill and there'll be a no vote for that as well. And so we might be in a situation where we don't get either bill because they're fighting against each other. Now, technically, the first infrastructure bill was bipartisan, so you did have support from Republicans. But when it comes to the American Families Plan, that second infrastructure bill, no, you don't have any Republicans supporting it at all. And so that's what we're looking at when it comes to those bills. Now, I want to move down and talk a little bit about this debt ceiling and funding the government, because this is really serious. So as of right now, the Democrats, they have already gone ahead and voted on this in the House and passed it. So they funded the government until December of this year, and then they're extending the debt ceiling to December 2022. So that's what we're looking at right now. Democrats in the House, they've already voted on it, but guess what? It has to go through the Senate. Okay, so right now you have Republicans, they're a no vote. Okay, in both the House and the Senate, they're a no vote on the debt ceiling as well as funding the government. It's pretty ridiculous, and we go through this every year. Okay, so this is not unusual. However, we're looking at a situation where I think Republicans are not going to vote for this debt ceiling no matter what. And so if we're looking at this situation where Republicans are just not going to support this, well, then we could be looking at a government shutdown. And I think at this point, we're probably going to see a government shutdown. That's just my opinion. And I think what will happen is we'll see a government shutdown first. And then after we see that government shutdown, what we'll probably end up seeing, we might see them go ahead and vote on this first infrastructure bill and have the language for the second infrastructure bill, but not do anything with the second infrastructure bill until after they vote on the debt ceiling. And so you have Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. He'll call this bill to the floor. So we're talking about the debt ceiling and the funding the government. He's going to call that to the floor. And when he calls that to the floor, you're going to need 60 votes. Okay, 60 yes votes. So that means you need 10 Republicans and all 50 Democrats. Okay, they need to vote for this. So that means you need some support from Republicans. If you get no support from Republicans, then we're looking at a government shutdown. So I think that they'll probably go ahead and move forward with the vote. If they don't get the votes, if they don't get any votes from the Republicans, then that's when they're going to have to go to Plan B. And Plan B is to add this debt ceiling to the American Families Plan, or that second infrastructure bill, the reconciliation bill. And so that's what I think they'll do. But I don't think they'll be able to do this all in a week. So October 1st, we're in a government shutdown if they can't fund the government. Okay, so if they can't vote yes on this bill to fund the government, then we're looking at a government shutdown. So we might look at a government shutdown maybe for a week or 2 weeks, and just until they can figure out this reconciliation bill. But I don't see them moving forward with the second infrastructure bill next week. They'll probably have the language for the bill, and hopefully that will satisfy, I know I'm writing a lot on this screen, but hopefully that will satisfy the progressives, because that's what you need. So you're going to need to satisfy the progressives and then go ahead and move forward with the first infrastructure bill. Go ahead and vote on that in the House, and then have that waiting for the president. And now the president does have a little bit of time. He doesn't have to sign it right away. So that will give them a little bit of time to work, so they can technically, President Biden can say, look, I will hold that first infrastructure bill on my desk until we have the second infrastructure bill completed. So they can do that. And that would hopefully help the moderates say, okay, yes, let's go ahead and vote for this. And then the progressives also will say, let's go ahead and vote for that first infrastructure bill, because the president has already given us his word. He's going to hold it on his desk until we get something on that second infrastructure bill. So that's probably what we're looking at. But they're going to need a little time, because this debt ceiling, this could be an issue. Okay. And the sad part about the funding the government, the debt ceiling, is we go through this all the time. Okay. You have one party saying we're going to vote no, and then the other party saying we're going to vote yes. And usually, if one party's in power, that other party is going to be in opposition, because let's face it, they want the economy to go down the tubes. They want it to go bad. The opposition wants a bad economy because they know a bad economy means they can win re-election and they can regain power. And so that's the fight that we have. And I don't know how this is going to help the American people. It's not going to help the American people. People are going to suffer because of this. But politicians don't seem to care. They look at it as, you know what, this is a strategy that we're going to use. If we're in opposition and the economy is bad, we win. So that's what we're looking at right now. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post them down below. It's going to be a busy week. I keep saying that, I know. I'll probably post another video later today, just updating you on more information. Usually there's some interviews on Sunday, so we'll probably get some more information as far as where they are when it comes to the first infrastructure bill, the second infrastructure bill, and this whole debt ceiling and funding the government. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.